we're at the Detroit Auto Show. It's our first time here. So far, it's been really cool. There is a marching band playing, so I might have to do some voiceovers on some of my clips because it is obnoxious. We always go to the Cleveland Auto Show. It's closer to us, but I really wanted to go to this one because they had the TRX, they had the Darkhorse SC, they had a few new vehicles that they don't always show at the Cleveland Auto Show. So it was kind of, an opportunity to see it a little bit sooner than everybody else. We will try to capture some of the vehicles as best we can. There's quite a few people here already. This is the opening day. We got here right at 10 o'clock when it opened, and it was like a stampede of people. So we didn't get here quite as soon as I thought we would. I thought we would be some of the first in line, but I think we were able to get some decent video, and hopefully you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. If I have to do a voiceover, I apologize. It's probably gonna sound a little different, but hopefully we'll get you some decent content. Thanks. This is my first time seeing Canyon Lake in person. Obviously, it probably looks different in the sunlight, but it's kind of blah, if I'm being honest. You have these trucks to stand out, and I don't know. I wish it was a little more gray. I don't know if you're catching the green here, but it kind of reminds me of some of the colors that Toyota offered. This is a level 1 package, so I'm going to use this window sticker to compare to the TRX, because this should have the same features as the TRX standard. This does have the beadlock wheels, has the level 1 package, but the TRX starts at $99. This is $89. So really, for $10,000 more, you're getting all the features this has, plus 777 horsepower. So everyone's upset at the price of the TRX. It's really about a $10,000 upgrade. So we'll take a look at that now. This is the new 27 TRX. Has the RHO front end, updated headlights, and grille. Now it has 777 horsepower. Still a 6.2 with a supercharger, but I've heard they borrowed some of the internal components from some of the red block engines, which is like the Demon and the Red Eye. So it's not just a tuning. There actually are internal components that are different, upgraded. It does have the Bilstein Blackhawk U2s, which I have on my RHO. I don't really notice a big difference in the way that it handles and rides compared to my 22 TRX. There's about 200 pounds difference between the i6 and the V8. However, that's the difference of a passenger. So if you've got a 200-pound buddy in the passenger seat, you really don't notice it. But this is that orange color. I wasn't sure if it was orange or red, but I really like this. I'm ordering one of these, and it will absolutely be that color. It won't be this graphics package, and it won't have the two-tone. On the roof, at least, that's actually painted. It's not a wrap, and it does have that metallic in it. Not a lot of people know, but the lower stripe down there is also a metallic. It's not just flat, a gloss black. That carries over onto the hood too. You can see that metallic sparkle. One thing I did notice is this does not have the passenger screen. Of course, this is a pre-production model. It may have it on the actual production model, but it does have the bigger infotainment center. It doesn't have the 12-inch that you see on the base model RHO, and honestly, that's, I think, all you could get on the previous Gen 1 TRX. So, there's a lot of people complaining on the TRX forum saying they didn't change enough. And when you look at what they did with the 1500 Classic, they ran that for 15 years. You didn't really expect Ram to make drastic changes on this new TRX, but I think it's pretty awesome, and it's really only about $10,000 more than a equally optioned RHO. So pretty good deal. This truck's probably $120. I have no idea what this extra package costs, but base model, it's coming with all the level 1 options. I'm hoping it comes with the beadlock wheels. I had the base model wheels on my RHO, and I changed those immediately. They just got old quick. I like a little bit of offset, but they have some of the best beadlock wheels, I think, in the business, or at least simulation beadlocks. But looking forward to ordering one. This has been a big topic. Ram brought back the 2500 Powerwagon with a diesel this time. It's extremely similar to the Rebel, and you don't get the winch now. I think because that i6 is so long, there's just not enough room for it in the bumper. So basically, you're getting a Rebel with some decals. It does have sway bar disconnects in the front, and maybe a front locker, but I don't know. It's cool, but I don't think it's that different from what they had last year. But see. It all, I guess, depends on the pricing. I haven't seen a window sticker yet, but I do like that blue. So this is the Ram Rebel compared to the Powerwagon. Very similar, it has Cummins. This one's optioned with the Ram box. $97,000, and this is that molten red pearl. You can get this on the RHO. It's really nice. It kind of reminds me of the rapid red that you get in Ford, which is it's beautiful in the sunlight. I can't tell if it's got a metallic in it or not. It does have a metallic, so don't wreck it. It'll be paint to color match. Sharp truck. Direct connection package that you can put on the regular 1500s. It's a 5.7 with a supercharger, makes it 650 horse. For $90K, I personally think it's a little pricey. I mean, it's sharp, but I mean, I'm not sure how long that 5.7 is going to last with boost. I know the 6.4s had some issues with boost. I mean, it's definitely a sharp truck, but I can't imagine the resale on this is anywhere near what that TRX is going to be for only $10,000 more. And honestly, you can order those TRXs at like $10,000, $11,000 under sticker. Not sure about this, so they're probably very similarly priced. But the reality is you can buy an F-150 XLT for about 55 grand, loaded fairly decently, you know. Throw a $12,000 Whipple on it and probably spank this thing. Hate to talk bad on Ram. It's awesome that they're doing this, but I feel like the 6.4 would have been a better option, or even the 6.2 for that price. So these are super controversial as well, following most of what Stellantis is doing. This is the standard output version. It's all-wheel drive, but you can put it in just rear-wheel drive, which I think is awesome. People are kind of having an uproar about the inline six, but I mean, BMW has done it for a long time. I do hope they put the V8 back in this. Rumor has it they're gonna, but honestly, for 50 grand for something that's over 400 horse, all-wheel drive, two-wheel when you want it, the fact that it's not electric anymore is pretty awesome. There is a four-door version over here. We'll pan to that here in a second. This is the four-door Scatpack. Apologize for how busy it is here. It's the opening day, but a lot of the big creators got to come in and film before I got busy, which is huge. Wish I could get a better side angle. I don't hate the four-door. These things are growing on me a little bit. I'm going to try to get a side shot here. This is the rear. Here's another RTR. It's got the paint that changes as you move. 115K. This is not a Raptor, so this would either be a 2.3 or a 2.7 upgrade package. Looks pretty cool. Again, I'm a little bit worried about what the RTR resale value is going to be like. The Raptors have done very well in the past, but they might do pretty good. I mean, it's obviously going to be better than just a factory, Wild Track or Badlands or something like that. This color is kind of reminiscent of about 15-20 years ago when this came out. Skidoo actually had a Millennium version of their MXZ that had this color that flip-flopped in the graphics. If you can see, this is $110,000. I'm hoping this includes the supercharger for that price. Pretty cool. More RTR. This has kind of a neat flip-flop color. It's not really my style, but so these do come with the Whipple, 810 horsepower, which you can get a Roush aftermarket or you can get a Whipple. I would absolutely go Whipple. But, Whipple is just, I mean, they're both well known in the performance industry, but anytime you talk about big power, it's Whipple. There's a lot more tuning capabilities, pulley options. It's the CT5 Blackwing. These things actually rip. You can still get a 6-speed manual, which is like unheard of anymore. Even the new Darkhorse SC is still a 7-speed DCT. So this is kind of one of the last muscle muscle cars that you can get a rear-wheel drive V8 supercharged with a manual. Don't love the color, but my wife seems to. I'm actually a pretty big fan of this. Of course, it's all electric. I have some comments on all electric. I actually do have an all electric vehicle now. It's like let's call it a weekend beater. So it's a super cheap lease. I don't hate it, but you can't beat American muscle, man. You cannot beat the V8. You can't beat these supercharged and turbocharged 6 cylinders. Like, not quite ready to go full EV just yet. This thing's pretty sweet. Concept vehicle from Cadillac. I dig it. I'm actually super surprised at how many of the Cadillacs here are all electric. I mean, it's most of them. But the Escalade, honestly, this thing with a 6.2 without lifter issues would be awesome. I really think they screwed up not making this an actual gas vehicle, but it's definitely sharp. Here's another concept from Cadillac. Crazy long. I don't know if it shows on video, but this thing's awesome. Probably never come to market, but very sweet. It's kind of interesting. I am by no means a Kia guy, but I have rented quite a few of them. I rent a ton for work, and honestly, they have come a really long way. I think the reliability is getting better. I mean, it was always the joke that, it wasn't really a joke, it was just kind of the reality is that Kia had a bunch of their engines just sitting at the factory. Because inevitably, they were going to have to replace a week or a month. But kind of neat to see them getting into this more all-terrain market. It's upside down, but that's the new Honda Prelude. When I was in high school, these were like one of the cooler cars to have. That's going back 20 years. But I kind of think they missed the mark on these. Hybrid, 200 horsepower. It probably runs pretty good. It's a small vehicle, and 200 horse honestly isn't bad. I mean, back in the day, that was a kind of a benchmark. You know, you were trying to hit 200 horse. You know, the old 5.0 Coyote, well, non-Coyote Mustangs were barely making that. But I don't know. Not really for me. This is the new Moab 392. 80,000 to start. Honestly, a lot better than the previous 392. I mean, as far as pricing, it's the exact same thing. 35-inch KO2s. Interior was upgraded a couple years ago. I got a better screen. Not bad. Just happy to see a V8 in these things. So this is the new Grand Wagoneer. All they offer now for 26 going forward is a Grand Wagoneer. Yeah. Don't think this is fully loaded. If I remember, these actually had a screen over here on the Grand Wagoneers, but it's pretty sharp. You know, one thing I did notice, this is about the chintziest feeling sounding plastic I've ever seen. I know everyone in the comments will be like, oh, Stellantis garbage. My TRX, my RHO, everything feels super luxurious, but this, not so much. Another shot of it. This is the shorter version. Just looked at was the longer extended version. It's like the same interior.
Press that button.
Glare here is terrible. Starts at 62,000. The Grand Wagoneer previous version, which was fully loaded. I mean, they had various levels, but those started at a much higher price point. So it's glad to see that Stellantis Jeep are actually trying to get their pricing back in check. Mentioned that with the Moab 392 Wranglers, quite a bit cheaper than it was when it first came out. And the Durango Hellcat's cheaper. The new RT Durango is actually going to start at 50,000 with the 6.4. They haven't released that yet, but that, you know, those little things make a big difference. Hopefully they can keep putting these V8s out. This isn't a V8, but putting out, you know, higher end vehicles at a lower cost, and maybe some of these other manufacturers can start to compete. And Recon. I mean, it's all electric, but the power is incredible. 650 horsepower. It's actually pretty sweet. The roof, I don't know if you can see it, completely folds back. Take the doors off. I mean, again, it's all electric, but boy, what a sweet ride. I bet it's a lot of fun to drive. Anytime we see electric, like, I would lease it. 2-year lease. Get rid of it. You don't have to worry about depreciation. You can really enjoy the heck out of it. I don't think I would buy one. I've seen too many horror stories with Teslas and other EVs that just depreciate so fast, and you end up upside down. It makes you hate it regardless of how the driving experience truly is. But very cool. Interior is pretty awesome. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit here. They got it roped off. Plus I'm one-handed, so I'm trying to make the best of this situation. Not one-handed, I've got my jacket in my hand. Pretty neat. This is the new Bronco RTR. This one's pretty controversial. It has the 2.3 in it instead of the 2.7 or the 3-liter. But you do have the Wild Track with the 2.7, obviously the Raptor with the 3-liter. So I do think there is a market for the 2.3. If anyone hasn't driven one of these, they're actually pretty stout. It's a really impressive motor for, 2.3 liters. Not a huge fan of this, if I'm being completely honest, but again, I think there's a pretty good market for it, as long as they don't charge 70 grand. This is one of the RTR Mustangs. It's really just an appearance package, but you can get different stages. You can get them with a Whipple, close to 800 horsepower. If you watch Cletus McFarland, he did the Hard Park, the RTR. It was great promotion for this thing. It's such an awesome vehicle when they're tuned. But even stock, if you haven't driven a stock 5.0 recently, they are very peppy. Again, not a big fan of the green. All it reminds me of is back in the day when everyone painted their differential cover on their trucks lime green, and it was like some rotted out 97 Chevy pickup with a lift, but pretty cool for some. This is the new Darkhorse SC, 5.2 supercharged. Basically took the place of the GT 500. It does have shared features with the GTD. A lot of people are saying it has the 5.2 from the GTD, but the GTD actually has a dry sump. This is a wet sump still. But it has some interior, I think they took like the steering wheel and a few other things from the GTD. But I believe it's also an inch wider. That was one nice thing about the GT 500 and the GT 350 is they had a little wider stance. You can kind of see in the fenders here. Looks like it does maybe appear to be a little bit wider than the regular Darkhorse, but it's obviously different. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty eager to see what the pricing is going to be. This would definitely be an acquired taste, but that blue is incredible. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera. Looks like it is. It's got a unique wheel offering. I don't believe there's any performance upgrades on this, but it's definitely unique. You're not just going to have the same Maverick as everybody else. Don't love it, don't hate it. No, this thing's awesome.
Picture of a Bigfoot?
Obviously, something like this is definitely not going to be on the street, but boy, something like that at Glamis, that would be awesome. One awesome thing about this place is like, where else are you going to be able to get within 2 feet of something like this?
It's not over 1,000.
Not where I live, I can tell you that. First time seeing the GTD in person. Not a big fan of yellow, but boy, what an awesome car. I would absolutely take that any color. The spoiler's insane. For the real reason we're here, puppies.